لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. First of all, I would like to thank the Indonesian Muslim community here in Victoria to invite me for the second time. And actually, this is my third time I meet my brothers and sisters, the Indonesian brothers and sisters. I've met them here first, maybe 1.5 months ago, and I met them again in Liverton, other center, and now I'm here again, and Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And it's always pleasure to me come and meet my beloved brothers here in this center, inshallah. To start the talk about Syria, actually, subhanallah, when the brother, first before I start, when the brother start reading from Surah Al-Hujurat, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا, I said, subhanallah, it really suits today's topic, because we need actually to seek the knowledge and seek the information from its real and authentic sources. The media actually always play a role to brainwash the crowds. So it's always good to ask the people of the country, to ask the people of that field, if we need to know anything about anything in this life. And surprisingly, last time when I met my dear brothers and sisters, they have the idea that many of them, and that Bashar al-Assad is fighting terrorists in Syria and he has the full right to what he's doing. And well, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, after talking, there was many misconceptions and misunderstanding were clarified, and we had awesome results after the talk and after the discussion with my beloved brothers here and with the sisters in Liverton as well. So before I start, Syria is an old name of a country located in Bilad al-Sham. This is Syria here, and Syria is part of Bilad al-Sham. Bilad al-Sham consists of two countries, which is Syria and Palestine. Syria and Palestine. This is Syria. And actually Bilad al-Sham and even Mosul used to be part of Bilad al-Sham. Mosul, Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, and Al-Urdun or Jordan. All this called Bilad al-Sham. Bilad al-Sham, mainly the Arab used to live there. They immigrated from Shibh al-Jazira al-Arabiya down, from the Arab Peninsula, when this area is not livable anymore and there is lack of resources here in the Arab Peninsula. Many Arab tribes, they traveled towards Syria. Like many Arab tribes, they traveled from Yemen to Indonesia actually. Many Arab tribes, they came from Yemen, but instead of going north, they went south and they reached Indonesia. However, and this happened after Islam actually. The migration from Muslims to Indonesia, it happened after Islam. Yet, before Islam, many Arab tribes, they went to Iraq and Syria because there is more rivers, more water, more resources for them to live. So in Syria mainly, there was a tribe called Al-Ghassasina. And in Iraq, there is a tribe called Al-Manavira. So in Syria, there is Al-Ghassasina, and in Iraq, there is another tribe called Al-Manavira. And Al-Ghassasina, they were ruling Syria, or part of Syria, and Al-Manavira, they were ruling part of Iraq. In Iran here, there used to be the Persian kingdom, or the Persian superpower, this here in Iran, the Persian, and Turkey and Europe and Egypt and Syria. Okay, even though Syria was ruled by Al-Ghassasina, but they were like proxies to the Roman Empire. So here was the Persian Empire in Iran, and on the east, on the west actually, there was here Turkey, Europe and North Africa and Syria ruled by the Roman Empire. Islam came 40 years after the birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Prophet Muhammad was born in 571 CE. 4 years later, Islam started in Mecca. 13 years later, Prophet Muhammad went to Medina. He stayed in Medina for 10 years. He passed away. And who came after him? Remind me. Who came after Prophet Muhammad to be in power? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Okay, thank you for reminding me. Jazakumullah khair. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq became the first Khalifa of Islam. The first thing Abu Bakr as-Siddiq did, actually, after fighting the Murtaddin, those who live the religion in the Arab Peninsula, he sent an army to Syria, to Bilad al-Sham. He called for help from Yemen and from all the Arab Peninsula, and big, huge army came to liberate Syria from the Roman. So this is a quick history. So Syria was liberated at the time of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq under the leadership of Khalid bin Walid. Khalid bin Walid was fighting in Iraq, and then he was called by Abu Bakr to support the people in Syria, and he crossed the Sham Desert here in a fantastic 13 days. It was like, subhanallah, it's a miracle how he did it. And in a place here called Al-Yarmouk, there was a big battle where Muslims defeated the Roman, and they start taking over Syria. And then Islam spread in Syria, in Palestine. Then the Muslims, they went to, at the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab, Umar al-Khattab was after Abu Bakr, isn't it? So good, I remember well. So then after Abu Bakr ruled actually for 2.5 years, like 2 years and 5 months and a couple of days, he passed away. Umar ibn al-Khattab took the leadership after him, and he continued to liberate the areas here, continued to liberate the rest of Syria, and to liberate Egypt and North Africa. Now then, historically, Syria is part of Bilad al-Sham, and I believe that you've heard this name, Bilad al-Sham, in many ahadith of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now, if we follow the history quickly till the falling of the Khilafah of the Ottoman Empire, Caliphate. In 1919, actually it was before this, the falling started, but the official fall, the declaration of the fall of the Khilafah, it was in 1924, where the Khilafah was collapsed and there was no more Khilafah, there was no one leader that all Muslims will be under his leadership. Due to that, Syria fell under the occupation of France. So the French occupation took over Syria, because this is as a result of the World War I. Who won in the World War I? Anyone remind me? Anyone knows? Who won? The one who won in the World War I was Britain and France. They was the winners. So they took over the world, actually, the known world. Syria fell under the occupation of France. However, Palestine and Iraq and part of the Arab Peninsula fall under the occupation of the British. Now, Egypt fall under the British. If we go east, Libya, Italy, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, they were ruled, and Mali and Niger and Chad and many of the African countries fall under the occupation of France. Now we need to imagine now, France now in power in Syria in 1920, and now they are thinking of creating things that they can continue ruling and sucking the wealth of Syria. So the British did in all the countries. They call it Colonialism, I call it occupation, because Islam, we are really a very, very, very civilized nation. We don't want anyone to elevate us. You know, they were actually occupying us. They occupied us, and they were taking wealth from Syria. Now, in Syria, interestingly, in Syria, the Muslims, actually, the majority in Syria are Muslims, and they are still Christians since the Roman Empire. Since the time of the Roman Empire, they're still Christian, and they continued, and they are Arab, actually. They speak Arabic, and they're Arab, and no one forced them to leave their religion. And in my country, in my home country, it's called Homs. If you zoom in, please. Yep, that's it. Here, this is my hometown called Homs, and that's called the capital of the Syrian revolution, Homs. There are many Christians, they live there peacefully. And actually you see, and I'll tell you a very funny story actually. One of my friends, he used to work with me in the hospital in Syria. He's Christian. And for a long time, his father didn't have children. And he made an oath, his father, he's Christian. He said, if God gives me a baby son, I will make a mawlid. Do you know the mawlid? Do you know what the mawlid is? Yeah, bring people and they start praising Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He's a Christian. But he said, if God gives me a son, I will invite the mashayikh and they will start singing, praising Prophet Muhammad sallallahu Muhammad and these things. And he is what? He's Christian. So we used to live peacefully actually. Okay, they practice their religion, but at the same time, we used to respect each other. There was no conflicts whatsoever. So even the Christians, they used to believe that, you know, it's making mawlid and or praising Prophet Muhammad is something really good. In Damascus, at the time of the French occupation, there was like meeting between them and the people of Syria and like you said, the leaders of Syria. And one of the leaders of Syria, he was Christian at that time. His name is Faris Bek Khouri. And they asked the French, why are you here? They said, we are here to protect Muslims, to protect Christians from Muslims. He said, we've been here living for 1,400 years with no conflict. Who are you coming to protect us from? If you are really coming to protect Christians from Muslims, so I will declare now that La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So this is the atmosphere before the French occupation that came, and actually he was in the Damascus mosque. It's called the Umayyad mosque, and all the people, they carried him on shoulders, and they went all the streets, and Christians and Muslims, they were saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So this is the atmosphere was before the French occupation. So the French, they said, we can't make a fitna between Muslims and Christians. So they start thinking of alternatives. If you go up to Latakia, here, yep, there is here a series of mountains. I will give you now a very quick, am I talking so much about history? Are you fine with this? Yes. Understand fine? Yes. Yeah. So, at the time of the conflict where the Ummah was divided between Sunni and Shi'i, after the tragic death of Sayyidina al-Hussein radiallahu anhu, if we can recall the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, he said, I asked Allah about three things. One of them that my ummah is not eliminated by an outside invader. The Prophet ﷺ asked Allah the Almighty that his ummah, the Muslim ummah, because if you can see, there's so many civilizations, so many nations that were eliminated from the surface of the earth. But Prophet ﷺ asked Allah Azza wa Jal that this ummah will not be eliminated from an outside enemy, and Allah accepted. So the Ummah of Islam will stay, will continue to the day of judgment, to the last day on this earth. So no one will be able to eliminate Islam from earth. Doesn't matter how strong he is or how weak Muslims are. There will be still even a small group of people, they will again introduce Islam to the whole world. But the thing that Allah didn't accept from Prophet Muhammad, that there will be a fitna within the Muslims. There will be fitness within the Muslims. So Allah will test our iman. So after the death of Sayyidina al-Hussein radiallahu anhu, some people, they took this incident to create fitna amongst the Muslims themselves, that we still live until now this problem. After the death of Hussein, some people, actually it started from the death of Uthman. So from the death of Uthman, and after the death of Uthman, and then Ali ibn Abi Talib was killed radiallahu anhu, and then Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he took the Khilafah, and after him his son Yazid, and at the time of Yazid, Hussein was killed. And of course, no one accepts that for Hussein to be killed. And he's the grandson of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he's that great pious Muslim. Now, quickly, after the conflict and something happened, like there is Sunni and Shia, some people, they put their noses in, they are non-Muslims, and they pretend they are Muslims, and they said, we are Shia, we need to revenge for the death of Hussein. From that sect, from that Shia, so many people, they left Shiism and they become different sects. They left Islam totally. Some of them, they are not Shia anymore, and they are not Muslim anymore. They called now Alawi. Have you heard of this word? Alawi? No. Alawi, and this is the tribe or the sect where the current president of Syria belonged to, or it's called in English Alawi. However, I'll tell you something. This name wasn't Alawi. Alawi means belong to Ali radiallahu anhu. Now, just bear with me a minute. Before France came to Syria, this tribe, they never called Alawi. They called Nusayri. Now, Nusayri, what does that mean? Nusayri, because the one who established their religion called Muhammad bin Nusayr. Muhammad bin Nusayr, he was first non-Muslim, and many narrations, they say that he is a Jewish man. And then he declared Islam, and he said, I'm a Muslim, and I'm a Shi'i. And from Shi'ism, he said, no, this is religion, there is something wrong in it. I want to create a new thing, and he called it Nusayriyah. Muhammad bin Nusayr, according to Muhammad bin Nusayr. What is their belief, actually, the Nusayriyah? They say there is no day of judgment. This dunya, either your Jannah or your Nar, or either you live in hellfire in this dunya or you live in Jannah. After you die, your soul is not going to go to Jannah or hellfire. Your soul will come in another human being. Now, look at this. If in their philosophy, if you are a Sunni, your soul after your death will go to an animal, because you are nothing, you are just a Sunni, you are a dog in their opinion. If you were a bad Alawi, a bad Nusayri, your soul will become a Sunni, if you are a bad one. If you are a good Nusayri, your soul will become Nusayri again. Understand? So for them that if you are a Sunni, then you are lower than an animal or something like this. Now, this is the tribe where Bashar al-Assad and his father, the current president of Syria, belong to. But this is not our problem with them. I will come to it. This is not our problem with them. we are not here searching the faith, and we are not here. And the people of Syria, just to make it obvious to everyone and clear, the people of Syria didn't go to streets demonstrating because they are against their faith. I'll tell you why people of Syria went to streets in 2011, on March 2011. Now, when France came to Syria, they said, look guys, as long as your name is Nusayri, no one will accept you. So let's change your name from Nusayri to Alawi. So you will be accepted from everyone. Sorry. So Alawi, everyone loves Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu. Who doesn't love Ali? Even if you don't love Ali ibn Abi Talib, you are not a Muslim. Prophet Muhammad said, whoever loves Ali, he's a Muslim. Who doesn't love Ali, he's not from me. So we need actually to love the Sahaba and the Ahlul Bayt of Prophet Muhammad. It's our religion. So it's part of our religion to love the household of Prophet Muhammad and his believers' cousins. And one of them is Ali ibn Abi Talib. So the French people, when they came to here, they changed the name from this tribe, from Nusayri to Alawi. Okay, now. And they started preparing them. As while France was there ruling in Syria, they enrolled in the Syrian army as many as they could from the officers in the army from the Alawis. So, now, let's think of this now. The French people are occupying Syria. Do you want actually to serve in an army that is occupying your country? Anyone likes to serve in an army that this army occupies its country? No. Who accepted this? The Alawi. They accepted to serve in an army that is really like killing the people of their own people. So they were given like ranks, and they become like officers and officials, and they ministers in Syria. So when the Syrian, it's called the big or the great Syrian revolution took place against the French, who was in power? The Alawi. Make sense to you? But because we are all Syrians, we said it's fine, we reconciliate with each other, and we'll continue our life normally. After this, the French occupation finished from Syria in 1947. Now, in 1963, and from 1947 to 1963, there was a nice parliamentary and democratic life in Syria. There was Islamic parties, there was leftist party, there was communism party, and everyone goes to the box. If people accept you, they will vote for you, and you will take you will form the government. And of course, because the most sincere one at that time, they were the Islamists. They used to win always, and they used to run the country in a very nice way. Until 1963, when something called Al-Ba'ath Party. I'm not sure if you're aware of this name. It's called Al-Ba'ath Party. Al-Ba'ath Party, they don't believe in God, and they say, okay, instead of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, they have their motto say, Ummatun Arabiyyatun Wahida Dhatu Risalatan Khayda. One Arabic nation, and that's it. This is what we believe in. We don't believe in God, we don't believe in religions, we believe in nationalism. Now, Hafez al-Assad, the father of the current president of Syria, Hafez al-Assad, he joined that party, and then he became the defense minister of Syria. He became what? The defense minister of Syria. In 1948, what happened in Palestine, here in Palestine, the British people, they gave up an oath and promise to the Jewish people to give them Palestine. Do you remember this? In 1948, it's called the Balfour Promise, or the gift from Britain to the Jewish people to establish the state of Israel in Palestine in 1948. So now this land started to be occupied by the Israelis. Now, Palestine. Now, in 1967, In 1967, there was a big war, and actually it wasn't a real war. It was just like a role play, you can say it. It wasn't a war. It was 6 days war. If we can go here, please, this area. Yes, go right. Right. Yep. Up. Now, this here, Damascus, this Daria, this is okay. Now, in this area here, this is, a little bit down, and yes, here. Yep, okay, good. Now, this area here, and this is actually the Tabariya's lake. And this is what in the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad when Gog and Magog will emerge, the first people will come through the Tabariya's water, and the last one will come and the Tabariya water is empty. So the last one said, one day there was a water here. So because there were so many in number, they will drink all the water, the Gog and Magog. So anyway, this is here called Golani Heights. It's like small mountains. In 1967, there was the War of 6 Days between Syria, Jordan, Egypt, Palestine, the Palestinians against Israel. Miraculously, I'm not sure how Israel defeated all the Arab armies in 6 days. How, I don't know, but this is what happened. But if I tell you why, now you'll understand. Hafez al-Assad, the father of the current president, which is Bashar al-Assad, he ordered the army, the Syrian army, to withdraw from this area with no fighting. He said, leave this area. And then the Israeli came and they occupied the Golani Heights with no fight. In compensation, they paid him back and they made him the president of Syria. He gave them the Golani Heights. Actually here, if you put 5 or 6 or 10 children, they can control the whole area of Palestine because it's height. If you have just small guns, you can control the area. So in compensation, they paid him back and they gave him yes, make it small so we can see Syria. And he gave them this area to Israel, and the international community, they gave him the rulership of Syria. And now he is the president of Syria. Of course, the people of Syria, they knew that he is not a good man. And now we'll talk about what did he do. Is my mobile phone with you? So I just want to watch the time. So, Jazakallah khair. Thank you, brother. Okay. Subhanallah. Quickly. People of Syria, they didn't accept him as a president because he was really corrupted and he wasn't a good leader for the nation. The greatest revolution against the father, the Assad father, it took place in 1980s. And what did he do actually? The main city was there opposing him. It's called Hama. If we go here, yes, up, this Hama. Actually in 1982, Hama was liberated from the Syria, and actually there was an uprising in Hama. And what happened is Hafez al-Assad sent troops from every place, and he cut this way here, and he surrounded the area of Hama in 1982. And for 2 weeks, he cut all the supplies, all the water, all the food from the people of Hama. Over 2 weeks, through tanks and jet planes, he bombarded the city. And if you go to Wikipedia says he killed 24,000 Muslims. Actually, I know this is a close by city to us, and I was maybe very young at that time. He killed 52,000 innocent Muslims over 2 weeks only. He slaughtered children. He stabbed his army, stabbed the pregnant women in their stomachs, and they killed children, they killed women, they imprisoned women, they raped women. And over 2 weeks, and no one knew because there is no social media, there is no Facebook, there's no YouTube, no one can video record. And surprisingly, when I was working on the container project this year, maybe you are aware of it, the winter appeal for Syria, my home was a drop-off point. A man knocked at the door, an Aussie man came with his wife, and their car was full of clothes. He said, "This is for Syria." I said, "Okay, thank you very much." And he said, "I was in Syria." I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I hate these Assads." I said, "Why?" He said, "In 1982, I was in Syria, and I was traveling from Damascus to Aleppo. And when I reached Hama, they said, 'No, you can't come here. The road is closed.'" He said, "Why?" They said, "There is road work." They said, "There is road work. So we need to take detour." So they took an alternative road. And he said, "We continued to Aleppo. We didn't know what's happening." He's telling me. He said, "After 2 or 3 weeks, I knew there was a massacre happening in Hama. I was approaching Hama, and they said to us, there is a road work." So they covered the road, and he said, "I was there. So I hate these people, and I'm with the people of Syria." Now, this is in 1982. In 1990, another uprising happened in Syria. In 2000, another uprising happened in Syria. In 2000 now, very quickly, how many minutes do I have? 15 minutes. Okay. Now, in 2000, Hafez al-Assad, the father, passed away in 2000. Now, look at this. The name of Syria is the Syrian Arab Republic. The name of Syria is the Syrian Arab Republic. In the Republican system, you can't give the power to your son. It's a republic. You go for voting, parties go, except for Syria. Hafez al-Assad gave the power to his son. It's not a kingdom. It's not their farm. It's not their country. So the leadership being inherited. Now, this first of all, and his age was 34 something, 36. And the Syrian constitution says then the age of the Syrian leader should be 40 and above. So they changed the constitution overnight. They went and they changed the constitution, and they made it like, yes, the father can give the leadership to his son, and the age can be whatever suits this family. And he became a leader. The people of Syria said, fine, let him. And now what happened in 2000 when Hafez al-Assad died, no one knew that Hafez al-Assad passed away, but we knew that Madeleine Albright, who's Madeleine Albright? Madeleine Albright is the State Secretary of America, the Foreign Minister of America at that time. She came to Syria suddenly. She stayed in Syria for a couple of hours, and she left Syria. The next day, they announced that Hafez al-Assad is dead. So America knew that Hafez al-Assad was dead, but they came to make sure that the power is transferred peacefully to Bashar al-Assad, because they want this family to continue ruling Syria. Now, if you hear the media, Bashar al-Assad has to go, and we are against Bashar al-Assad, and Bashar al-Assad says we are against America, this is just over the table. But what is under the table? So in the media they fight, but actually in the closed rooms they are best friends. So now 2000 and the corruption continued, and actually I forgot to tell you, in 1982, in 1980s, Hafez al-Assad sent the troops to the streets to pull the hijabs off from all the ladies on the streets. So if you are wearing hijab and you are walking in the street, you will find an officer, they will pull your hijab off. You are not allowed to wear it there, because now, I'm not sure where did he get this from. Yeah, he said, no, hijab doesn't suit Syria. Subhanallah, Syria is a Muslim for 1,400 years. In schools, you are not allowed to wear hijab. You need to take your hijab off and to be enrolled in the public schools, and we have all the public schools, government schools. Now, quickly to 2000, Bashar al-Assad now is the president. The people of Syria, they accepted him. They said, fine, let's give him a chance. We don't want any hassles. But he didn't prove himself as a good leader. He was more corrupted than his father. He jailed so many ulama in prison. He jailed anyone who would like to create anything against them or to create a party, like a political party. They were present until 2000, and the Arab uprising, the Arab Spring took place in 2010. So the Syrian people, they said, we are not any odd from the other Arab nations. So the revolution in Syria took place in 2011. And I want to highlight on this, what's happening in Syria is not a civil war at all. It's not a civil war. It's not a war between the component of the Syrian people. It is a war between the Syrian people themselves and Bashar al-Assad as a proxy. Bashar al-Assad is just a dirty cover, and behind him there is Iran, there is Russia, there is even America behind him, the China behind him. So no one wants actually the people of Syria to rule their own country, because if I rule my country, I will not give authorities to X and Y and Z to take the wealth of my country. But if I don't care about the country, I just care about the chair to stay as a president, I give them as much wealth as they want so I can stay in power. So in 2011, the uprising took place in Syria. It lasted for 6 months peacefully. Everyone was protesting on the streets. People in masses went into streets and they were protesting against Bashar al-Assad. And the troops of Bashar al-Assad, every time they used to open fire on the people, they are like no weapon with the people like you and me right now, and the security forces and the army that start open fire on the people. So the situation escalated, and now people that had to carry weapons to protect their sisters and their moms in Syria. And so how the war broke out in Syria, and the peaceful demonstration changed from being peaceful demonstration to a war. But I'm telling you, they said it's a war between Sunni and Shia in Syria. It's not. It's a revolution between people like you and dictator and oppressor in Syria. And actually, the only Shia who are coming and fight with him are from Iran and from Hezbollah, from Lebanon and from Afghanistan and from Pakistan. And inshallah, what I will do now, after this quick summary, in 1 or 2 minutes, I will stop so I can open the floor for questions. And I think inshallah, I can answer and highlight more on the situation of Syria through your questions. I just led you to what happened and why the revolution took place in Syria. And again, I say the revolution didn't start because of the faith of this man. No one asked or questioned his faith. We were asking and questioning his ability to lead. I want to draw your attention, if actually in any country in the world, if there is a train collision happened, 2 trains hit each other, immediately the transport minister resigns. But in Syria, 3/4 of the country destroyed, and the president still claimed that he's a good president. So we are now questioning his eligibility of being a president. So now I'll stop here. Inshallah now, and I believe there will be so many questions, and maybe we'll continue for half an hour of questions. So inshallah ta'ala, but if your questions will be about the revolution, inshallah we'll continue. Jazakumullah khair and barakallah fikum.
Thank you so much, brother, for the explanation. So Brother Ibrahim already touched about the background of the conflict today, but there was no exploration about the current condition, especially about the humanitarian condition in Syria today. So we can touch that through your questions later on. And so, especially after the bombardment of Aleppo a couple of weeks ago, which was done by Russian army, endorsed or even requested by the Syrian government. So I would like to open the question and answer session now, and maybe it's one question at a time, brother?
It's fine.
Yeah, one question at a time. So who's gonna ask a question, please? Anyone? Yes, sister.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. I have two questions about Bashar Assad. The first question is about how is the real condition according to Syrian people. That Bashar, I read from the mainstream media that Bashar Assad regularly sent the troops against Israel in Palestine. So, according to Syrian people, what happened actually? And then the second question, I'm sorry to asking this, maybe this going to be the sensitive issue about Sheikh Buti. How is the position of Sheikh Buti and Bashar Assad? Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. I would like to ask my dear brothers and sisters here, please, any question comes to your mind, ask it. Any question. You know, maybe this question, like it's been in your mind for a long time and you need an answer for it. So don't hesitate. Any question is in your mind related to this issue, ask it, inshallah. If I have the information, happily, inshallah, I will clarify it. Thank you for your question, sister. May Allah reward you. And actually, the two questions are really important. In the issue of Palestine, everyone around I'll put it back here. So the Arab leaders, they know the sensitivity of Palestine and how Al-Quds is really dear to all Muslims around the world. Once you say, I'm pro-Palestine, so you captured the hearts of the people around the globe, the Muslims around the globe. Just you say, I am with Palestine, I'm with the liberation of Al-Quds and these things. So you immediately, you captured the heart of the Muslims around the world. And his regime and other regimes like Jamal Abdel Nasser in Egypt and Saddam Hussein in Iraq, they all play the same idea, and they play the same role play. From over the table, they say we are with Palestine. But how come you are with Palestine and in Syria, thousands of Palestinians are jailed? In Syria. And if you go and search now what happened in 2012 and 13 in a place called Mukhayyam al-Yarmouk. Mukhayyam al-Yarmouk is a camp of al-Yarmouk where mainly Palestinians live there in Syria. It was bombarded heavily by Bashar al-Assad. He killed so much Palestinians in Syria. Actually, Bashar al-Assad and his father, they killed from the Palestinians more than what Israel killed from the Palestinians. If you search, I'll tell you, the massacre of Sabra and Shatila. Here is from me. It happened in Lebanon. The massacre of Tal al-Za'tar. The massacre of Aylul al-Aswad called. The massacre of Mukhayyam al-Yarmouk. All happened by Hafez al-Assad, that he's the father of Bashar al-Assad. So this is a propaganda. They say we are with Palestine. He never sent a troop to Palestine. Never, ever send a troop to there's no evidence. And maybe he claimed this, but he is as coward as them to declare a war against Israel. He can't. No way that Bashar al-Assad will fight Israel. Now, is this clear? No, at all, sister. You go and search Sabra and Shatila massacre. It happened by Sharon. Sharon is the minister that was the prime minister of Israel, and he died recently. But who actually executed the massacre on earth? The Syrian troops. Go and search Tal al-Za'tar. This Tal al-Za'tar, where Hafez al-Assad executed Palestinians. So he was using the Palestinian as a mean in his hand to stay in power. That's it. He's not pro-Palestine, he's pro-his power. Now, did I answer the question or clarified? Good. Now, come to the Sheikh Buti rahimahullah. Sheikh Buti rahimahullah, he is very well known as a great scholar of Islam, and he has deep knowledge of Islam. And actually, he used to think of درء المفاسد مقدم على جلب المصالح. There is a rule in the fiqh, in the Sharia, called درء المفاسد. You can Google this later and inshallah search more about it. It's a very essential rule in Islam called درء المفاسد. Called درء المفاسد. So درء المفاسد is a priority upon جلب المصالح. Then to stop an evil or to prevent an evil is better to bring a benefit. Let's say there is a flood coming and you have a money. Do you build a mosque or you build a dam to stop the flood? You build a dam to stop the flood. This is called درء المفاسد مقدم على جلب المصالح. So he was thinking that this revolution, this uprising that will make conflict in Syria, and this regime, he knew it, that this regime doesn't fear Allah. And this regime will create a fitna, and this regime will kill the people. And he said then, let's kill this regime for now instead of killing people. This was his mentality and this was his idea. But after the regime started commenting and committing crimes against the people, he was about to declare that this is not good and the regime has to stop. And then the regime, and I strongly believe that Iran killed him in the Umayyad Masjid, in the Masjid. It's not the Syrian. A'udhu Billah. Do you think that the Syrian will kill a Shaykh or Abu? A'udhu Billah. The one who killed him is the one who killed the scholars in Iraq. In Iraq, Iran killed more than 80 Sunni scholars in Iraq. Do you know how? By drilling their heads with drills. They put drills in their heads and they drill it. The Iranian and the Shia militia in the Iranian militia in Iraq. So actually, al-Buti was very dangerous to Iran more than he's dangerous to the Syrian revolution. He's a wise man. So if you go to the YouTube where the Sheikh Buti was assassinated, now I tell you what happened. The place where the masjid of Sheikh Buti was in a very secured area in Damascus. So no one can enter that area without the permission of the security forces of Syria. So if there is a stranger or a stranger person there, you can't enter. Now what happened is, he was giving a lecture like me right now next to his member. And there was a bomb implemented in the member. Do you know the member? There was a bomb implemented in the member. How come people, they don't have the keys of the masjid, and people, they don't have the security code to come and spend time overnight and to put a bomb in the member? If it's not the security forces of Bashar al-Assad and Iran. And then what happened? Remotely, the bomb was activated and it exploded. It didn't hit the Sheikh directly because the Sheikh was away from it. He fell down like this from the shock, and he stood up again, like he raised his head again, and he fixed his amama, his taqiyah. And then a man from the crowd approached him and he stabbed him in his neck. And he killed him. That means it is well planned. Make sense? So the one who killed Sheikh Buti is actually, I strongly believe, is the Iranian regime by the support of the Syrian regime. I hope that answered your question, sister. Exactly. Yep. Is there any more questions? Yep. Sister there.
Thank you. My question is, what is the real solution that will that will solve the Syrian conflict? Will the military intervention, or should be political that will solve the Syrian conflict? Thank you.
Jazakallah khair for the question, sister. Look, sister, as long as Bashar al-Assad is in Syria ruling, there will be no solution. As long as this guy is ruling Syria, there will be no solution. And unfortunately, everyone wants this guy to stay. Russia wants this guy to stay. Iran wants this guy to stay. Israel wants this guy to stay. America, and now Donald Trump said he wants Bashar al-Assad to stay. It's obvious that the war is against the Syrian people and it's not against the Syrian regime. 3 days ago, Sergei Lavrov, who's Sergei Lavrov? Sergei Lavrov is the foreign minister of Russia. He said, without the help of the Russian forces, the regime of Syria would have fallen in 3 weeks in the hands of the Syrian people. That means the Syrian people are strong enough to make this regime fall, but because of the jet planes of the Russian and the Iranian militia who came to support him, he still survived. He's still alive, actually. Now, why Russia and Iran are really interested in him, and how Iran is fighting with him. Now, I tell you about this dirty game happening. In 2000, America invaded Afghanistan. America invaded Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, there is two main. There are 100% Muslims, maybe 80% Sunni, and 20 or 15% Shia. The Shia one belonged to a tribe called Hazara. I'm not sure if you've heard of this name before. The Hazara, they fled Afghanistan and they went to Iran. In which year? In 2001. So the Hazara, they went to Iran and some of them, they came to Australia. Now, in Australia, because Australia is a free country, they gave them full rights and they became citizens. However, in Iran, they didn't give them any rights. Just come inside Iran and that's it. Now, and some Shia Pakistani, they came to Iran as well. And some Iraqi Shia, they fled to Iran as well. Now, none of them were given a permanent visa or a citizenship. None of them. Their kids are not allowed to go to schools in Iran. So they have their own madrasas to teach their kids. They are not allowed to work in Iran. They work illegally. So they are always under pressure to be kicked outside Iran. Fine? Now, the war happened in Syria, and Iran is in favor with the Syrian regime. Now, Iran is full of neft. Instead of sending their neft from here all around to Europe, they start building big pipes so they can take the Iranian neft, the Iranian petrol, the Iranian oil straight through Iraq, through Syria to Europe. So they want Syria, and they want, in particular, they want Aleppo. So can you imagine now the hustle? Now Iran has to transfer the oil all the way, and they have to pay tax every time they go into the Suez Canal. And here, of course, there is always conflict between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And the war might break out anytime, so this place might be closed in the face of the Iranian oil. So the best place is to go, and now Iraq actually is under the control of Iran, 100%. So the only place that is not under the control of the Iranian people is the north of Syria. They want the north of Syria to be easily take the oil to Europe. Make sense to you? So they want to fight. They want to fight. This is on the geopolitical, economical issue, apart from the religion and belief they believe in Iran. So now back to the Hazara and the Shia that came to Iran. They have no rights. And when the revolution took place in Syria and the Iranian regime want to support Bashar al-Assad, look to this evil idea they came up with. They said to the men, the Shia men who came to them, you go to fight in Syria and we give your families here in Iran permanent residence. If you don't go and fight, we'll kick you out. So they have no choice. They said, if you die, we consider you shaheed, subhanallah, and you go to Jannah, as if the Jannah is in the hands of the Khamenei. And no one can proclaim Jannah, and no one has the authority to send you to Jannah or Hellfire. Now, so he said to them, you go and fight in Syria. If you die, you will be a shaheed, and your family will be granted the permanent residency, and your children will go to schools in Iran. So many of them, they went to fight in Syria because anyway, they were about to die in Iran. There is no life in Iran for them. They are not, so they said, okay, we'll go fight. If we die, at least our family after us, they will have permanent residency in Iran, and our kids will go to schools. So this is the situation, and this is where the idea came, the Sunni Shia war in Syria. In Syria, there is no Shia. In Syria, the percentage of Shia is 0.02%. So there is no enough people, even Shia, to fight against the Sunni in Syria. And as I told you, Sergei Lavrov said 3 days ago, without the Russian support, the Syrian regime would have fallen in 3 weeks. So the solution is actually, we as people here, we need to put hands in hands and support the Syrian people there. And actually the Syrians are doing great, and there is now conversation in Kazakhstan, and hopefully after this will be a ceasefire and will be 6 months transition period where Bashar al-Assad will leave, and inshallah hopefully something positive will come out from this. There's a conference, peace conference happening in Kazakhstan actually, between the Syrian revolutionists and Turkey and Russia as well. I hope that answers your question. Yep.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I have one question. So when the Aleppo was down, I watched the news, and there were people like cheering of the winning of the Bashar al-Assad. So who are these people? You said that all of the Syrian people are once they Assad to go down, not in the become president anymore. But who are these people who support Assad? Thank you.
Jazakallah khair for this question. I'm not talking now about the people who were celebrating the fall of Aleppo. I'm talking in general now, and I will come to those people who were celebrating. In general, in any place on earth, you will find a dictator has supporters. Some dictators around the world, they have supporters, true or not, like from their own people. Now I'll give you an example to make it easy for you. Have you heard of a person called Pharaoh? Good. Amongst the people who used to support Pharaoh, there was a man from the nation of Musa. Do you know what's his name? Can anyone recall the name from the nation of Musa? He used to support Pharaoh. Yeah, can anyone remind me? His name is Qarun. His name is Qarun. Qarun actually is from Musa's nation, but he was in Pharaoh's party. How can we understand this? Pharaoh used to slaughter the kids, the children, the boys of Banu Israel, true or not? Qarun is from Banu Israel. How come Qarun used to support Pharaoh? Because of the benefits. He used to benefit from Pharaoh, and he made huge wealth. Qarun made a huge wealth by supporting Pharaoh. So of course he will support Pharaoh. And Allah says in the Quran, in translation, Qarun was very wealthy. Allah didn't describe his wealth. Allah described the keys of his wealth. So he let you and I to think of his wealth. Allah says in translation in the Quran, the keys, this is my car key. Yeah? This is my car key and my house key. The keys of Qarun, where he used to keep his wealth, just the key ring, it needs 3 to 10 people to carry it. The keys. ما إن مفاتيحه لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة. Allah says the group of young, strong men, it's hard for them to carry the keys of the wealth of Qarun. So can you imagine the wealth of Qarun then? Now, how many Qaruns Bashar al-Assad has? He has many Qaruns. Anyone, there are small Qarun and there's bigger Qarun and the bigger Qarun and the big Qarun. So there are so many Qaruns around Bashar al-Assad. So they benefit from him. So of course they will support him. So this is in general. Make sense? Now, I'm talking in general. So how people they support the evil, or how people they support the devil, because they benefit from him and they are after this world. Now, I'll tell you, when Aleppo was full, and it was taken by Bashar al-Assad, this is the camera, and I am the person who's cheering for Bashar al-Assad. And now it's broadcasting. Now, let's say this. Can you see the people behind the camera? No. You can't see the people behind the camera. The people behind the camera, they are having the machine guns with them, and they are pointing a bomb to the people. If you don't cheer, we kill you. So now you have 2 scenarios. Either you cheer for Bashar al-Assad, or you will get killed. Doesn't matter. You don't want to cheer, I'll kill you, you go, another one will come, and we cheer for Bashar. I need only 1 minute of recording. That's it. I record it and I keep repeating it and I keep repeating it. We, the poor people, we don't see what's happening behind the camera. We don't know how many security forces, how many people holding guns with their hands to force the people to cheer. So this is the situation in Syria, and actually we've seen it with our own eyes. I'm not telling you that something we didn't see it. We witness it with our own eyes. They bring the camera, they put the man in the corner, they hold machine guns, and they say, I did it. I did it. With flueness, okay? And after he says, I did it, they put on the news, let's say a political crime happened in Syria. Political crime happened in Syria, they bring a poor guy, okay, they put him in the corner with a camera, with machine guns behind the camera, say, I did it. The poor guy has no idea what's going on, so I did it. And then they put on the news, here we go, this is the criminal. And that's it. And this is what happened in Aleppo. Make sense to you, brother? Most likely, Wallahu alam. Jazakallah khair. Yep. Sister? Assalamu
You mentioned a lot about Iran, about USA and China and stuff, and I would like to know about what is the position of Turkey in this conflict, and what is also your opinion about Erdogan himself. Is he in the side of the people of Syrian or not? Thank you.
Now, every nation on earth, they follow their own interests. Every nation on earth. But some people, they follow their interest with ethics. And some people, they follow their interest without ethics. Russia and Iran, they follow their interest with zero ethics. So for the Iranian regime and for the Russian regime, they don't mind to kill half of the Syrian people to achieve their goal for the Iranian to take the neft, the oil from this way. They don't care. For Turkey, Turkey is a big country surrounded by enemies. Turkey is a big country surrounded by enemies. For the north, they have Russia. And there is a historical conflict between Russia and this is Ukraine, and this is Russia, and this is the Black Sea. And always there is a conflict between Turkey and Russia since Russia was ruled by Caesar, as is the king of Russia, at the time of the Russian Empire and the time of the Ottoman Caliphate. Here, this is called Crimea, or Jaziratul Qarn, this one. Always there's conflict between Turkey and Russia about this small island. And now actually, it used to belong to Ukraine, and now it's taken by Russia. If you've heard in the news or something, if you are aware of this. Here, there is a big ship yard for Russia in Crimea. Now, let's stop talking history now. But now let's talk about current days. Then, from the north, Ukraine and Russia. From the west, they have Iran. And always, there is a historical conflict between Turkey and Iran since the Ottoman Caliphate. When the Ottoman Caliphate was about to conquer Nimsa here, Austria, the army of the Ottoman Khalifa was about to liberate and open Austria. What happened is the Austrian had a deal with the Shah of Iran, it's called Shah Ismail al-Safawi, to attack Turkey. So when the Turkish army was here fighting on the border of Austria, the Ismail al-Safawi attacked Turkey. So the army has to withdraw from Austria all the way back to Turkey to defeat the Iranian. So there is always historical conflict between Iran and Turkey. Based on two things, both of them, they were fighting on being the leader of the Islamic land. The Iranian, like the Shah, Ismail Safawi, used to claim that he is the representative of Muslims, and the Ottoman Empire used to claim they are the representative of the Muslims. So there was a conflict between the two nations. Now, down they have Syria, and they are not very well. So Turkey, the sister who asked, is actually surrounded by historical enemies. So they are trying, in my humble opinion, they are trying their best to ease the hardship of the Syrian people, and actually, without the help of the Turkish organization, we can deliver the aid to Syria. It's impossible to deliver the aid to Syria without the Turkish humanitarian organization. So this border here, part of it is under the Free Syrian Army and the control of the Free Syrian Army. So we deliver the aid from Turkey. So these two containers that the Indonesian community may allow with them and with everyone who participated, it will come to Mersin, from Lebanon all the way to Mersin. And from Mersin, it will come to the northern border of Syria through Turkey. So Turkey actually, they are trying their best to ease the hardship of the Syrian people to the maximum of their abilities. I believe they are genuine, but they are tight-handed. They don't have enough to do, and they are trying their best to bring peace to Syria, but of course, they take in their consideration the interest of their own country. But in general, without the support of the brothers in Turkey, and the aid will never reach Syria. It's hard. It's really hard. I hope that I answered your question, sister. Jazakallah khair. So,
Thank you. Only a simple question. So I'm curious, is there any nation who particularly stay or vote to the people of Syria?
Thank you.
The time where people used to fight for justice is not existed at our time. Now, every nation will fight, they will fight for their own interests. So someone to come and fight for the sake of removing the evil from Syria, I doubt. Because now we are living in the time that everyone is looking for his own interest. On the level of individuals, yes, there are some individuals, they are happy to go and fight or to help there, like medically or deliver aid. Actually, the Syrian people, they are fighting major superpower. Fighting Russia, they are fighting Iran, they are fighting Iraq, they are fighting the Syrian regime with no support from no nation on earth. The weapons are prohibited to reach the Syrian people. So America put sanction on providing the Free Syrian Army with advanced weapons. So to my knowledge, to the maximum of my knowledge, there is no nation on earth will take the risk to go, even though I find it it will be highly regarded by Allah the Almighty if you go and support an oppressed or someone who is in need. But I can't see any nation that on earth that at this stage they are willing to do so. Wallahu alam. Yep.
Yeah, I'm a bit wondering about the conditions now in Syria, and children at a glance look very strong, even bombing all the time, and blood all everywhere. And what actually the real situation, and how the parents taking care of the kids, and what makes the kids look so strong. Thank you.
Jazakallah khairan wa reward you. Maybe this will be the last question before I highlight on the humanitarian and give you a brief idea about the project that we have done. In 2011, in Homs, in this area, in Homs, a brother of mine was besieged in his house by the Syrian troops, by the regime troops. In his suburb, actually, there was no food. There was a hero man. He used to hire a small van and to go and to bribe the checkpoint. He used to give them money, the checkpoint, bribe them, buy some bread and bring it to the people. Now, wallahi, this story, every time I remember it, this gives me hope that this ummah is still alive, alhamdulillah. So in his suburb, there was no food, hardly can find food, there is no bakeries, there is no flour to make bread. This man used to take risk to fill his van with food, with bread, and come inside this besieged suburb. Because the suburb went against Bashar Assad, and Bashar Assad sent some troops to besiege that suburb. This man used to come every day. He used from his own money, because he was a wealthy man, to bribe the checkpoints and to bring the food inside. He knocked at the door of this brother, and this brother has 3 children, 5 years old, 3 and 6 months. 5, 3 and a half, something like this, and 6 months old. Now, this brother knocked at his door. He said, I have some bread. If you have money, give me. If you don't have, may Allah forgive you. And then that brother, he said to him, look, akhi, wallahi, I have nothing at my home to feed my children except for a little amount of milk powder, water, and few pieces of bread, few pieces of hard bread. So may Allah reward you. Take the bread to a family that they have nothing at their home. So I will not take the bread. So he refused to take the bread. Why? He said, maybe there is a family in need more than me for this bread. So he went. 3 or 4 hours later, the troops, they attacked that suburb. And the first house to be attacked, that was the house of that brother with his children. He said, he narrated the story later on, and he said, I carried my 3 kids with 2 hands. I don't know how it happened, but Allah helped me. And my wife was running after us carrying 2 bags. And we were running. The bullets were following us everywhere, but none of them hit us. They kept running and walking, and it was a cold winter month in December in Syria, and the snow was covering the area. They walked for 6 continuous hours. They walked and walked to the nowhere. And all what he can remember, he said, maybe Allah saved me because I offered the bread to another family. And he kept walking for more than 6 hours. After 6 hours, and another, well, he said to me 10 hours. No, 6 hours, 10 hours, then another family found them shivering around to die from cold. They took them, they gave them blankets, and they took them to a safer place. So people of Syria, in this situation, many of them, they support each other. But it is a hard situation. We see the photos, but actually, unfortunately, the photo will not give you the real pain. The photo gives you the image, but the photo will not transfer to us the fear in the eyes, the fear in the hearts of the babies, of the mother whose baby his temperature is 40 at midnight, and there is no Panadol there. There is no medication, there is no medicine. The pain that squeezes the hearts of the women when there is no food to feed the young ones inside the house or in the tent, the camera can't deliver it to us. We don't know the amount of pain and pressure upon the father or the mother who can see their little one passing away because of lack of nutrition, of lack of water, or lack of milk. So the situation is hard there, but because maybe Allah gives them some strength, they can continue, and maybe because they, in many occasions, they help each other. After 6 years of this civil war in Syria, or the war, civil war, the war in Syria, the revolution in Syria, we didn't hear of any one suicide incident happening in Syria. There's no suicide happening. But if this happened in maybe in other nations, you find many people commit suicide. Because for this condition, if someone went bankruptcy, in some countries they might commit suicide. But in Syria, with all this hardship, the people, they don't commit suicide because they have belief in their creator, Allah the Almighty. And may Allah give them strength, you and them. Jazakumullah khair.
So thank you very much, my dear brothers and sisters, for all of the questions. It's very good questions. And after this, Brother Ibrahim will explore more about the humanitarian issues, and especially about the mission that is brought by the organization, by the Asafic. And maybe you can also give us a little bit of idea of like the size of the population of the country and how many are fleeing today, and so how many people left in the country, etc., etc.
In very quick, the population of Syria is very small. It's like the population of Australia. We are 25 million. The Syrians are 25 million. Maybe they fit in one suburb in Indonesia. I'm not sure, maybe in one corner there. Anyway, 25 million in Syria. And actually, subhanallah, the devil or the evil idea of the Iranian and the Syrian regime is to evacuate the area from its own people. Now we have 12 million refugees, 12 million people. They had to leave their homes, either within Syria or to outside Syria. So we have around 12 million displaced people. The major point is Iran actually wants to replace them with people from Iran, so they can protect their projects. So if the war is finished now and the people of Syria went back, so the Iranian project equals zero. So they want an Iranian or someone who support Iran to replace the Syrian people. So every place they go to, they make sure to kick out the indigenous people of that area. So when they went to Aleppo, their main condition is for the people of Aleppo to leave Aleppo. In other places, in Homs, in Damascus, in Dariyah, in Abdamiyah, in Qusayr, in Zabadani, always they want the native, the indigenous people to leave the area, so they will replace them with people who support Iran and its project. Now, Australian Syrian Association, that I'm very proud to be part of this organization. It was established in 2011 here in Melbourne, in Australia, in response to what happened in Syria. Australian Syrian Association is a volunteer-based organization, so all the people who work in the organization are volunteers. There is no payments involved, so we don't have any admission fees. We actually cater from our own time. All of us, we are like full-time workers. We work every day, but in our addition time, after hours, in the weekends, in the school holidays, in the public holidays, in the summer holidays, whenever there is a holiday, we actually give our time to serve the organization so we can collect aid and send aids to our beloved brothers and sisters. If we can click on this photo here, this one of, this one was of one of our biggest projects. It's called the Canned Meat Project. It's called the Canned Meat Project. It's here, this one. This one is the Canned Meat Project. Now, one day I was calling some people in Syria in the besieged area, and I said to them, I was talking to them, I said, what did you have today for lunch? He said, grass. You know the grass that we cut it and we hire someone to mow it, and then we don't know what to do with it? They take it and they eat it in the besieged areas. I said to him, when was the last time you had meat for food? He said, meat? What does that mean? We forget this word from our dictionary. It's not existed in our dictionary anymore. There is no meat. I said, subhanallah, because they are in a besieged area and there is no, they can't smuggle to them the meat. And actually this one is my WhatsApp profile picture. I'm very proud of it because this is my little baby. I'm very proud of this product. I'll tell you why. After I had this phone call with this brother, I said, let's smuggle to you some meat inside. He said, there is no point. If you smuggle the meat to us, next day it will be like ruin. It's because there is no freezers, there is no fridge to put the meat in. I said, Wallah, I will make for you guys meat that doesn't need fridge. And I went to the brothers, I said, brothers, this is the situation, and we need to make for our brothers in Syria meat that it can last and it doesn't need meat to be cooked. They don't have means to cook. And then we start talking to companies, and we had a partnership with Humanitarian, and we made 36 tons of meat. 36 tons of ready-to-eat meat. You just open the can and you start eating the meat, and with no preservatives, the can lasts for 3 years. So you can smuggle it and take it to the besieged areas. And there are some photos here for children holding the meat, and they need the meat for a long time. From a long time, they are holding the can of meat, and they brought happiness to their family because they didn't eat meat for a long time. And actually, we start hating meat here because every Sunday we have barbecue. So, subhanAllah, there's no point. So we said, we need actually to do something for this. This was my favorite project. So it's if you can see it on my WhatsApp, it's there. So I'm really proud because I felt like I made something to these people. Like I brought happiness to them. So I just don't eat meat, and others they don't. Here we go. And it's actually inside Syria. And people who live under trees, and people who live in tents. And subhanAllah, this is one of the mosques there. And all these children, they live in tents after they used to live luxurious life like you and I. They used to live luxurious life. They used to live like normal life like you and I. They have water in the world. Like they open the tap, there is water. They have fridge. They have electricity. But after what happened in Syria, so we decided to do something to them. And these are two representatives from our organization. They took the responsibility and they went over to Syria to deliver the aid to the Syrian people. And we continued and we continued. And the last project was the winter appeal. We did it last year. The photo there actually, that brother on the poster, the poster that you created. Yep. This was the first container full of clothes we sent last year. Here I was sealing the container. I was very happy. I was so excited that alhamdulillah, Allah enabled us to send the aid to our dear brothers and sisters there in Syria. And this was the seal. The story behind this container, quickly, I'll tell you. We said we need to send aid to our brothers and sisters in Syria, clothes and things. And what happened is we said we don't have enough resources or like logistic things to execute the project. At that time, I was the chairperson, the president. At that time, I was the chairperson, the president of the association. And I said, look, I said to the brother who's typing the minutes, write down please that we will hold on this project because of lack of the logistic things. Once the logistics are ready, inshallah, we'll do the project. And my heart was about to stop because of sadness, because I can't help the people there in Syria. I went home. What was the logistics? Why we couldn't do it? Because we don't have enough clothes, and we don't have a warehouse, and we don't have enough volunteers at that time to help us in the project. I went home. I was very sad. I sat down. I didn't know what to do. The phone rang. So yes, hello. Said a girl was talking to me. She said, "Is this Dr. Ibrahim?" I said, "Yes, speaking." She said, "My name, blah, 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 blah." She's not Syrian. She's not Arab. She's not Muslim. She said, "I want to help the Syrian people." I said, "Okay, great. What do you want to do?" She said, "I have a warehouse full of clothes, but I want someone to put it in a container and take it to Syria." Subhanallah. I said, "I will do it." I said, "But look, I don't have enough volunteers." She said, "I can bring as many girls as you want. So let's start the project." And then we started the project. And from then, I had more experience in doing such projects. And now I have more confidence to make projects, subhanAllah. And this was the first project. And we were aiming to send a 20-foot container. Containers, for your information, either 20 foot or 40 foot in size. Our intention was to send 20-foot container, and alhamdulillah, at the end of the project, I'm talking about last year project, or the last project of this year, we were able to send 2 40-foot containers. So I was sitting at home, as well as I want to fill the containers. I received a call, said, "Salaam alaikum, alaikum salam, is this Ibrahim?" I said, "Yes, Ibrahim speaking." He said, "I don't know you, brother, but I've heard of you. I have 72 hospital beds. I want to send it to Syria." I said, "Great." He said, "I will pay for the transportation. I pay for everything. Just link me with the people there, with the humanitarian organization." I said, "Okay, great." And we filled 2 containers, subhanAllah. And this year we repeated the project again, and Allah sent so many people to help us, and one of them was, subhanallah, the Indonesian community, who came and helped us heavily, who involved heavily in the project, and we were able to make 2 containers, and alhamdulillah, now the 2 containers are cruising. They will reach Merzin soon, inshallah, and the aid will be distributed to the people of Syria. So in this occasion, the Australian Syrian Association, actually, we prepared an appreciation certificate. So I want to handle it to you guys here, just to this center. And actually, you know something, really, wallah, I feel like I belong to this center. I feel like I'm part of it. This is the feeling in my heart. So this is the certificate of appreciation from Australian Syrian Association Victoria. Australian Syrian Association Victoria would like to sincerely thank Indonesian Muslim community of Victoria, IMCV, for their outstanding contribution to the Syrian Winter Appeal 2016. Jazakumullah khair. To whom I need to give this?
Yeah, to Brother Erwin. So please, someone can take the picture, maybe. Mas Yepi, please. So this is a great moment.
With my phone as well, please.
Yes. Already, thank you so much.
And that's it from my side. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward you. And I hope, inshallah, we can meet again in different occasions and maybe a different topic. Inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah ta'ala.
Jazakumullah khair. And barakallah fikum. قد قلت ما قلت فإن صوابا فمن الله وإن غير ذلك فمن نفسي والشيطان. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. بارك الله فيكم.
So thank you so much for Dr. Ibrahim for the explanations and all of the clarifications that we badly need, actually. So hopefully, once again, we can meet Brother Ibrahim again in the future in different occasions, probably in different topic. And so hopefully we can keep this sense of brotherhood between Indonesian Muslim community and the Syrian community living in Victoria, inshallah. So before we close the gathering, I would like to give you a little bit of announcement. Saya akan bicara dalam bahasa Indonesia aja, karena pengumuman ini untuk kita saja. Baik, alhamdulillah kita sudah selesai untuk kajian PBrunswick bulan Januari ini. Dan insya Allah untuk bulan Februari kita akan adakan welcoming untuk rekan-rekan teman-teman yang baru datang ya di Melbourne, pada khususnya atau di Victoria pada umumnya. Mengenai waktu dan tempatnya belum fix, insya Allah akan kita informasikan di awal bulan Februari atau pertengahan bulan Februari paling lambat. Tapi yang jelas bulan Februari pada minggu terakhir, kira-kira pada minggu akhir dari bulan Februari kita akan adakan acara welcoming, yang ini juga adalah kegiatan yang reguler kita adakan biasanya setiap 6 bulan sekali di awal tahun dan di pertengahan tahun, insya Allah. Baik, itu saja pengumuman dari kami. Terima kasih banyak atas kehadiran rekan-rekan semua, Bapak dan Ibu. Jangan lupa setelah ini kita ada hidangan untuk dinikmati bersama. Dan setelah itu mungkin kita bisa menanti hingga maghrib bagi yang bisa, ada waktu. Baik, demikian kami mohon maaf atas kekurangan dan kita tutup majlis ini dengan kafaratul majlis. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Satu hal lagi ketinggalan ya, satu hal lagi. sebelum teman-teman semua beranjak dari tempatnya masing-masing, ada satu saudari kita yang insya Allah besok hari ini sudah akan meninggalkan kita semua dan akan kembali ke tanah air. Pada kesempatan yang lalu di surau kita juga hari Minggu yang lalu sudah ada semacam sepatah dua patah kata dari yang bersangkutan, yaitu Mbak Hunter ya. Kita nggak tahu nama aslinya nih malah. Oke, Mbak Dwi. Ya, tapi audiens pada saat ini berbeda dengan yang lalu, jadi rasanya ini adalah waktu yang pas juga untuk berpamitan barangkali Mbak Hunter. Untuk Mbak Dwi silakan. Tolong ada yang menyiapkan tisu ya. Barangkali ada air mata yang menetes nanti.
Bukan murah. Coba. Ya, kalau nangis jangan kena ini tapnya terus. Sini dong. Perkenalkan nama asli. Nama asli.
Kemana?
Juga.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, besok saya mau pamitan ini. Sedih, besok mau pulang ke Indo, insya Allah. Mau ngomong apa ya, saya juga bingung. Saya ingin minta maaf aja kalau misalkan ada kesalahan-kesalahan yang pernah saya perbuat untuk jamaah surau sama jamaah PBrunswick, sama kalau ada hutang yang belum terlunasi, tolong kasih tahu, atau kalau lupa tolong diikhlaskan saja. Terus saya nggak bisa membalas satu-satu kebaikan dari saudara-saudara dan saudara-saudari saya yang di sini. Semoga aja saya cuma bisa ngasih doa, semoga kita tetap bersama dalam kebaikan, dalam jalan Allah. Semoga kelak dipertemukan di jannahnya kelak.
Amin ya rabbal alamin.
Saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih sebanyak-banyaknya atas persaudaraan, atas ukhuwah yang indah, yang kayak jauh di rumah tapi berasa di rumah sendiri, punya keluarga sendiri. Itu sangat berharga. Saya mau minta maaf juga kalau misalkan ada kesalahan-kesalahan. Kalau saya agak gimana ya, agak ceplos-ceplos, atau ada cengengesan, atau ada perilaku-perilaku yang kurang berkenan, mohon dimaklumi. Apalagi ya?
Nama asli.
Oh ya, nama asli saya kalau ada yang belum tahu, nama aslinya Dwi Setiawibawanti.
Dwi siapa Mbak?
Dwi Setiawibawanti.
Dwi Setiawibawanti.
Panggilannya di rumah sebenarnya adalah Tia. Oke, tapi ya udah keras saja dengan namanya Hunter. Ya udah segitu saja mungkin. Oh ya, saya akan merindukan kalian semua, terutama Ramadan yang akan datang ini. Pasti kangen banget iktikaf di surau, kangen banget buka puasa di sini.
Insya Allah Ramadan kita nanti kedatangan Mbak Hunter nanti di sini ya.
Amin. Ya udah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mbak Hunter ini sangat terkenal ya kalau di grup WhatsApp itu memiliki tawa yang terpanjang. Jadi kalau dia tertawa di grup WhatsApp itu WK 579XX gitu. Panjang sekali. Baik, atas nama pengurus PBrunswick dan juga saya kira atas nama kami semua, kami mengaturkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya untuk kontribusi yang telah diberikan oleh Mbak Dwi, Mbak Tia, Mbak Hunter untuk dakwah Islam di Melbourne ini pada khususnya. Safe flight inshallah, and keep in touch with all of us here, and so we will keep this ukhuwah until later in the future inshallah. So I think that's all for me. Thank you very much, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So mungkin brothers dulu boleh ya untuk hidangannya karena ada brother Ibrahim sehingga mungkin brother Ibrahim bisa bersantap dengan kita kemudian nanti menyusul yang akhwat. Terima kasih. Iya, Mbak Rini.
Kalau boleh minta waktu sebentar untuk ada ini dari bayi-bayi yang biasa-biasa mantar mau kasih hadiah Pak.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. So, Brother Ibrahim, we have one friend here, Brother Ibrahim, who is about to leave tomorrow because she's finished with the study here and she will be back to Indonesia tomorrow. And so she has a lot of children fans. So the fans will give something to this sister, inshallah. So please, yeah, silakan. Perlu di depan barangkali? Oh ya, di situ saja. Baik, silakan.
Ini ada sesuatu dari para ABG dan bayi-bayi.
Umuran kok.
I see. Oh, so sad.
Ayo dipotong saya sama adik-adik. Dia nggak mau dipanggil tante.
Oh iya. Oke, bagaimana? Sampun. Matur nuwun. Baik, saya kira bisa segera diinisiasi untuk santap bersamanya dan